This report is about compare and contrast the coronavirus emergency 2020 when it first occurred and the President of the United States, Donald Trump. The governors took charge in the Democratic states and dictated policy with lockdown measures after the vice president's first 15 days and pretty much controlled the entire year's economy based on the measures. And they were very strict measures, including wearing masks out in public all the time. Now, this year, while Joe Biden's president, it just seems as if the Democratic governors and leaders are quiet about things like the Texas crossings and the coronavirus being imported from all over, not only Latin America and the Caribbean, but now from Africa. So what's happening is people are flying into Mexico from other countries and then coming into the border in Texas. And then from there, they're smashed like pancakes into these facilities. Some are tested, some are not tested. We do know people are dying on the way and testing positive for COVID. So, versus the United States investing in infrastructure in Nicaragua or Central America so that people over there can work, they're doing the opposite and they're allowing the virus to be imported about 1 year after the national emergency actually started. This is very important because right now, even though the vaccinations are going on, people are still getting COVID from even after being vaccinated. So I had a video that was taken down, so I'm not going to be edited and I'm going to have to do this report based on the facts and the references, and I don't expect this one to be edited or censored because this is not misinformation. This is the truth. So last year, the hard measures, and then this year, the soft measures. So I just want to know why it's the complete opposite under a new leader. Now, the former president, under the national emergency, really did crack down on the border and that situation, knowing that before the vaccination, that a lot of people were going to be desperate for medicine. And this is very important because the CDC and nobody has come up with a plan that would be organized to fight the disease or COVID with therapeutic drugs. What we're doing is we're learning as it goes along what's happening. We've discovered an Olympic athlete has gotten COVID twice. We've discovered congressional leaders from Texas, months after the Texas crossings, went on an airplane together, maskless, vaccinated, and then imported it to Washington, D.C. That's a fact. And that's been downplayed severely because they did not seem to be taking the measures that they should have been taken. Now, I'm not going to talk about the vaccine in any way, shape, or form. But what I am going to talk about is the Democratic's position on Roe versus Wade and the abortion issue. And why is this important? Well, because the abortion issue is pretty much something that has caused this attack by the other side from the moment the new justices were sworn in, going on the bullhorns. And it just seems that since that moment, not only have cities burned down, but policy has been going the opposite direction. YouTube.com, Jamestown, California. Take two. I want to go and quickly talk about the way last year the governors were really strict on all the masks. And then this year, the CDC is saying, well, wear masks, don't wear masks. Vaccinated people are okay. Now vaccinated people have to wear masks. Now, I had a theory about why I thought this was happening other than just the Texas crossings. You got to understand, if people are coming in from other countries while everybody's been locked down and then smashing their coronaviruses together, that is importing cases. And also going on buses to cities like Las Vegas, St. Louis, and Miami, that's where the cases are going up. And the people that are going on buses, I just don't understand the logic of the administration knowing that last year, all the strict measures, but then this year, the opposite, allowing the country to have more imported cases. Now, this is very important because then when the Cuba situation, people crying for freedom, where is the United States and the policy? And why did Mayorkas say that those people can't come, but then those people can? That just tells you something that you really need to pay attention to, of who's really the USSRA, whatever you want to call it. Because the first thing that would be happening is those policies that they're claiming pertain to those people should be pertaining to those people also. And there is a definite double standard. This topic is about the double standard. And then going back to Roe versus Wade and don't tell me what to do with my body, I think also pertains to this whole crisis that the governors and government should not be dictating what people should and should not be putting in their bodies at this time, unless it's an absolute emergency situation that's going on. But like I said, I'm not going to talk about the vaccine, but I do think that people have the right to, if Roe versus Wade is on the books, I do think it pertains to this whole issue. There is a loophole in Roe versus Wade. If people were smart enough to know that there is a loophole that should allow life to go on, and there is a couple of loopholes, but I'm not going to talk about the abortion issue. What I am going to talk about is the law in the books currently as the way the Democrats want that law, and then they're not allowing that law to be actually enforced when it comes to men that also don't want anyone to tell you what to do or not what to do with our bodies. And there was solutions to all of this. And no one wanted to discuss those solutions. Now, I was discussing, and I went on assignment, and I know that the same things that happened before COVID, the same things were in the structure to where it could happen again, and none of that stuff was corrected. The governors in the blue states have not even mentioned anything about the Texas crossings, and then you're considered prejudice if you're asking where the people on those buses are going. Of course, we don't want anybody to be sick or get sick on the way or the situation at the border, but Congress is the one that's supposed to be doing immigration policy. And I think because of the executive order and doing the opposite while Donald Trump was president, concerned about cases coming in, I just think that it is a serious breach of trust. And what you're doing is you're gaining more people that actually need the shot because you're going to import more cases. And I'm not going to talk about the shot itself and any of that because that's a whole different topic. But the last thing I want to say, it's so obvious, ABC, CBS, NBC. By the way, CBS, I think you owe those college players back money at least since 2000 for all the money you've made. And it's kind of hypocritical and a double standard that you expect us to forget about corporate labor and you profiting and then the Supreme Court voting that way. I do think you owe some athletes their money, and I think the least the NCAA should do is return Reggie Bush's Heisman Trophy, because he is the Heisman Trophy winner. And I'm going to leave the take right there. Instagram.com, Jamestown, California. No one on those networks, and I read your pages every day. You're not down there like Bill with LA and Fox down there doing these reports. And you guys should be down there. I'm sure you have people doing it, but I don't see on your Twitter page anything talking about COVID coming in while these numbers are going up and putting 1 + 1 together equals 2. Because in my opinion, I think at the end of January and the 1st of February, we were ready to move on. But what's happened now has created a completely new environment. It's also a hostile environment. And while the 5G is being rolled out, you guys have not corrected the things that should have been easily corrected while the emergency first happened. The test kits, the temperature checks, and now it just seems like it's all about only one thing. And then if you don't go by the one thing, then you're being hammered. And I can't talk about my theory of why I think they're getting new cases, the vaccinated people. So I'm going to leave the take right there.